Welcome back, ladies. It is the Not Sorry podcast, and I am your favorite tough love bestie. You know it, girl. And like I always say, if you don't have a friend like that in your life, get one or just keep listening. Or do both. That's the key. Now, thanks for joining today. Today we have a couple of responses. I reached out into the stratosphere of the interwebs, my community, and I got some good responses, got some good questions, so we're gaining traction here. And I'm excited to talk about this because the two that I picked are pretty similar in terms of like contentment, if that makes sense. But let's dive in. First off, this one is more toward like relationship advice, if you will. But she titled it, or the subject line is life crisis. She goes, "Hello, thanks for reading. I am in a life crisis and I would appreciate hearing your thoughts or advice on it." Okay, yes. I'm living my dream life and I'm living with my boyfriend and our child. However, the last year I have been unhappy and now I'm finding myself thinking about someone else. I don't want to leave my relationship because of our child, and our child has only ever lived with mom and dad, but our relationship is just like friends. We never kiss, never have sex, nor do we ever go out or cuddle, etc. We're basically living as best friends. He says he's happy, but there's no sparkle in the eye, and I'm unhappy as well. However, I think we both have created our dream life, but we can't leave each other because then we'll lose it, and for our baby's sake. I'm torn. What do I do? That is tough, I will say. It's really hard when a child is in the mix, but I've been in this situation before when I was married. For those of you who remember, I will not repeat myself. But I've been in like more than one relationship like that where you do feel more like roommates. And basically, there's more to life. There really is. And what are you teaching your child? Honestly, like if you're doing this for your child's sake, think the bigger picture and what are you teaching them? What are you modeling to that child? It is not ideal for a kid to live in a broken home, if you want to call it that. It's not. And I can agree with you on that. But at the same time, what are they getting while living in a home that's still broken and divided, but not divorced? Does that make sense? I'm a child of a broken home. Well, I was like in my 20s. When my parents divorced, and there's no good age for when it's going to happen. But if you stay together because of your child, I guarantee you there's going to be a point when you do end up separating, and it's never going to be easy for that kid. Yeah, I was an adult when it happened with my parents. And in terms of that, I would say it's easier as an adult because I can conceptualize and make sense of it because I've been in relationships and XYZ. But at the same time, it was still just equally as heartbreaking because what have I believed over the years? Like, my parents were this and that, and you idolize them and their relationship. And especially coming from a good Christian home like myself, it was like, was everything a lie? Was it a fake? And you grow up thinking like, oh no, you stay together, divorce is never an option, you work through things and XYZ, and then here my parents are getting divorced when I was going through a really tough relationship at the time too. So it also gave me the confidence to leave my then husband, if you will. But yeah, so think about it. That's what I would like say for people in that situation is like, think about it in that regard. Are you modeling to your child the relationship you want them to have one day? Did you think about that? I don't think so. Because we're all going to grow up with problems, right? But you can control some of them, I would think, the big ones, the obvious ones. And if you want your kid to grow up in a home where mom and dad are just buddies and don't talk or cuddle or show affection, like, do you want that for your kid? Is your life what you have now what you want for your child in the future? Probably not, girlfriend. Like, we got to move on from that. But honestly, it's just like, I don't know. That's not your dream life. Like you said that, like that's not your dream. Honestly, it's not. If you're honest with yourself, think about that. If you're honest with, like, what's my dream life? Yeah, you have love for your partner and the little home you created, but there's a giant piece still missing. That's not your dream life. I guarantee it. Your dream life is to be in a loving relationship where they pay attention to you, they take care of you, and they're there for you and present, and you even if it's with a stepdad that your child will be around, then they'll have a really good example and another male, hopefully their dad is still a good male role model, but then another really good male role model, considering you do some work on yourself, you find yourself the right guy, even if it takes time. Okay, we've been over this. Jeez. But yeah, how bad is it if your kid has two male role models that are good? One good, maybe one even better. You never know. But this isn't your dream life, dear. This is not. Dear. What am I, an old lady? Okay. Let's move on to another similar one, and I want to expand on this because this one's a little short. Her subject line is peace has been boring. A little context. I'm 38 and my life has been a collection of chaos. I've been there. From losses to things going wrong, I've survived through a lot. I'm suddenly at a point in my life where there's no more fires to put out, and it's genuinely mind-numbing. How do you manage to stay motivated and inspired when no one is dying or you're not facing any losses or struggles? How do you manage happiness and peace? Please help. That's actually kind of beautiful. I've said many a time before how my 20s were kind of chaotic, not stable, not stable, if you will. I can't think of the other word. And when I got to the point where I'm at now, where everything is stable and peaceful and wonderful, I got a little like your brain is wired to think, oh, the other shoe's going to drop. Something's going to happen any second now. And like, that's anxiety. That's your body. Okay. Yeah. It's kind of working correctly where your body's like, oh, you're wired a certain way to expect chaos around the corner, and it's protecting you. Right. And so that's not happening. The lions aren't chasing you anymore. And your brain is like, WTF? Something's wrong here because this isn't the normal pathways we're used to making. We're getting super sciencey because I'm so smart. But that is some of the research and like stuff I've learned over the years that have really helped me learn a lot about myself by learning about my brain in general. So, understanding that, sorry, I think sounded like somebody was about to walk through the door. Nope. What was I saying? Yeah, peace is boring. But do you want chaos? It's time to find a new normal. Learn about your brain. And like I was just saying, when you learn more about your brain and kind of what you're used to being hardwired to be and to act and to expect, things outside of that are going to be abnormal. It's a knife to the jugular, if you will. And I would stop, and I did this to myself actually, kind of had that moment to myself where life isn't chaotic anymore. Tough times will always happen, but with the peace and security that I have now, find that gratitude and that love. And if you want to find other ways to garner excitement in your life, then do it, but in a way that's not going to destroy your credit score or your peace or your life, if you will, and what can you learn from that chaos also? And write it down. Journaling has always been really good. I journaled like 6 years straight for a period of time. Crazy. And that no wonder I have a podcast. I love to word vomit and get things out, especially with writing, because writing has really helped me clearly states something that I'm going through that I don't know how to verbalize. And that has brought me through many a hard time, many a hard conversation where I just write it out and I make them read it. Like, cringe maybe, but honestly effective if they're nice enough to like read my 8 pages. But I've been there where life was just chaos and you're just used to that. And I am so grateful that it's not like that anymore, because it is stressful and your anxieties are sending out these like signals of like, hey, ha, ha. So that might be the boringness talking, but it's also like your anxiety saying like, we're not used to this, and we got to shake things up. Don't be self-destructive, girl. Like, I think we've all been that self-destructive queen and just ruined things for ourselves. And have any of you ever done that, like, in a really crazy way? I want to hear that story of your self-destruction tendencies, like the big ones. I would do that in relationships where I would like the past one just said, where you're thinking about someone else, like, because something's missing and you kind of show your cards to the other person, so hope that they break up with you. You don't want to be the one to do that. So that's what I'd have to say about that. That's kind of like a simple one. I'm going to take a quick beat. We're going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I was getting a phone call and I needed to answer it. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. Peace has been boring. I would lean into that, honestly. And to the part where she was like, how do you stay motivated and inspired? You don't need, were you motivated and inspired during those tough times? No, I don't think so. It might... Sorry, that street is so fucking loud. It might put a fire into your ass to get out of those tough times, but the motivation and inspiration is now somewhere where you can put that energy into something good, and it doesn't have to be chaos. It can be a new project, or this chapter of your life is closed. It's over. And you're starting a new life. Think of it as a new chapter that you can write yourself. I say this all the time, like the amount of personal power that you guys hold, we all hold, is insurmountable. Like, you can't even begin to understand it. So I forget all the time, and I have to remind myself, like, oh, I'm actually in control here. I can do whatever I want. And so if you think about it that way, that, oh, I'm writing this book. This is my book. I can do this. I'm the author. So what do we want next? Do you want to stay motivated and inspired? What are you good at? What are your talents? What are your passions? And explore that. Think of it rather than a depressing way of like, where am I going? Life is just blurb. You could complain. Actually, don't, because that will get you nowhere. Complaining gets you nowhere. But if you see it as like, oh, hey, the world is my oyster. I can actually do what I want. I can go where I want. Let's learn Spanish. Let's learn how to paint, or let's finally tackle that thing that I've been dreaming about trying to do one day. Think of it as a good thing that you're starting over again in a good way. I don't know how many times I say that. Jeez, just listen. But yeah, girl, you starting a new chapter, a new life. I am such an optimist. Of course, when things were imploding in my life, it can be hard to see the positive, but I don't like the weight. Like, it's just who I am as a person. I don't like feeling that heaviness of the difficult times. So I fight my way out to get to the grass that's greener, like literally. And so I do that by seeing the positive, seeing like, okay, when I'm out of these trenches, man, when I'm out of it, it's going to be so good. I'm going to learn all these new things, blah, blah, blah. Looking at all the positive things that will happen once I'm out of the trenches. And you're out of the trenches, at least this girl I'm talking about. You've been out of the trenches. Well, that's good. What can you learn from that? Let's write it down. Oh, that's what I was talking about earlier, was journaling and just kind of word vomiting and getting all that out maybe, and just kind of releasing it, right? We're those self-improvement queens. And just writing a new chapter, girlfriend. I'm so excited for people who are in these, like, what do you call it? An in-between of life. This ended, now something else can begin. And I am excited for that. Yeah, very happy for that. If you want to write in, you can write into the email posted below or DM me on TikTok. You can do that too. If you need some tough love or some perspective about something, anything, I got you. But now we're on to our little buzzkill segment. This is my favorite. Like, I rush through everything just to get to this part because it's my opportunity to complain about something. And to bitch. We love to do that. Even though we stay positive around here, it's okay to let off some steam. Okay, so recently, Mark and I, it was Valentine's Day the other week, and I got these new shoes. I looked so good. I had this white silky dress on. Oh man, I looked good. Damn, I looked good. He's so lucky. So I had this white silky dress on and these red accessories. I had like this big, like, Art Deco-y red ruby earrings and like red ring and the red lipstick, the gold jewelry. Oh my God. And the only thing that can complete the outfit were these heels. I haven't walked. They were 4.5 inches. I used to, in my early 20s, when I was hitting the streets on those dates, I was in higher heels than that, and I could run a marathon in them. I don't know. I dreaded the day that I would be in this position of, I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I walked in those heels, blah, blah, blah. Oh man, it was such a buzzkill because, like, every step I took had to be like, where point A to point B had to be so close together so I could sit down really fast. Plus the shoes didn't really fit right, because one shoe fits a little tighter on one foot than the other, which is also really annoying. But it was so, when you're trying to, one, balance and not break your ankle, but also keep the shoe on your foot at the same time, like, that causes like extra pain and it's super annoying. So I'm just like walking so slow. And we started at a restaurant close to the theater. So we went to the theater after, and we've done it before, that route where we just walk to the theater because it's really close. Nope, not in heels. I was like, babe, we're going to be late. They won't let you walk through the door if you're late. And I was like, I'm taking these heels off. I had to lay my pride on that concrete and take my heels off. I would never ever do that in my 20s. I would cry through the pain. I'd come home with bloody feet. Why would I do that to myself? But it was for the beauty, the pain. But I took my shoes off, and I was wearing tights as well because it was freezing cold, and I don't have a tan either. So those things got tore up, and I knew that. But luckily, we were able to walk like normal, and no one made any comments. I was so afraid that people are gonna be like, oh girl, yeah, those feet must hurt. Like, kill me now. Literally kill me now. But I think I'm gonna get some new shoes that actually fit properly. But I don't want to return those. They are really cute. They're these nude heels, and I put in little inserts, but I don't know. They're so pretty, and I don't want to, like, I don't know. We're stopping right there before we dig ourselves a hole. But anyway, thanks for joining everybody for today's episode. We're doing a quick, short, sweet. I'm trying to bust out as many episodes as possible throughout the week because we got some goals to hit, bitches, okay? And you are going to fucking help me whether you like it or not. I'm trying to quit my 9 to 5. Please, 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 please. It's so hard. Well, I love the job, okay? I really do like my job, but it's a job. And there's better things in life. There's more in life, and this is it. This is what we're going for. This is what I'm picking. I've made my bed, now I gotta lie in it, all right? Well, thanks again for listening. Like and subscribe, or follow, or whatever it is, or wherever you're at, you know the drill. And I love you, and thank you for being here. And until next time, peace out.